I'm gonna show you the best console gaming monitors you can get at every price range. No matter your budget, I will help you find the best pick for your needs. Let's go. First, we're gonna take a look at the best options in the under $200 range. Dell G2725D. Next up is the Dell G2725D, which fits more comfortably into that budget-friendly category. This is another 27-inch 1440p monitor, and it pushes a speedy 180Hz refresh rate over DisplayPort, which is pretty sweet for an entry-level option. Colors look quite vibrant thanks to its wide color gamut, maybe even a bit too vibrant if you prefer super accurate colors, as there's no sRGB mode. While the specs look good on paper, I found the motion handling isn't the best. You might notice some blur with fast action despite the high refresh rate. It's also pretty basic. The stand only tilts, and console gamers should know it lacks features like HDR and proper VRR support over HDMI. Plus, input lag is high at 60Hz. I think this monitor is a decent pick if you're a PC gamer on a tight budget primarily looking for that 1440p resolution and high refresh rate, and you can live with some motion blur and basic features. However, if you mainly play on console, care a lot about contrast, or are sensitive to motion blur, I'd probably steer you elsewhere. Next, we're gonna take a look at the best options in the $200 to $400 range. AOC Q27G3XMN. This AOC Q27G3XMN monitor really surprised me, especially for its price tag, which is usually under $300. Honestly, the image quality you get here is kind of insane. Mostly thanks to that mini LED backlight, which makes HDR content pop like crazy. I'm talking flinch-worthy bright highlights in movies and games. It's a 27-inch 1440p screen with a speedy 180Hz refresh rate, so gaming feels pretty smooth with minimal blur, and it works fine with both AMD and NVIDIA cards for tier-free gaming. While it's amazing for darkroom gaming because of the deep blacks, the viewing angles aren't the best, and setting things up via the menu can be a bit fiddly. There are also no USB ports or speakers, which is a bit of a bummer if you're a gamer on a budget who prioritizes stunning visuals, especially HDR over extra bells and whistles. This is definitely one to grab. But if you need wide viewing angles or for sharing your screen, built-in speakers, or USB ports, maybe look elsewhere. Asus TUF Gaming VG289Q. Alright, next up is the Asus TUF Gaming VG289Q. A 28-inch 4K monitor that usually sits comfortably in the budget range. The big draw here is definitely the 4K resolution on an IPS panel. Everything just looks incredibly sharp and detailed, whether you're gaming, watching videos, or just browsing. Colors look vibrant and pretty accurate too, covering a good chunk of the DCI-P3 space. It's got FreeSync to smooth things out a bit, decent response time for casual gaming, and the stand is super adjustable, which is always nice. However, the refresh rate is capped at 60Hz. Which hardcore competitive gamers might find a bit slow, and the HDR support is pretty basic, not giving you that super impactful HDR experience. Plus, also plugging cables into the back can be a bit awkward. I'd say this is perfect for console gamers or PC players who prioritize that crisp 4K detail over high refresh rates, or even for productivity work where sharpness is key. If you're deep into fast-paced shooters or demand top-tier HDR, you might want to pass on this one. Next, we're gonna take a look at the best options in the $400 to $600 range. Gigabyte M32UC. This monitor, the Gigabyte M32UC, is a really solid pick if you're looking for a big immersive 4K experience without totally emptying your wallet. Usually sitting around the $600. What I noticed right away is the picture quality. Being a VA panel, it has fantastic contrast, meaning backs look really deep, which is awesome for playing games in dark rooms. It's a 32-inch curved screen with a 144Hz refresh rate, and I found the gameplay felt super responsive with really low input lag. Aiming felt precise and smooth in the shooters I tested. The only thing is, like some VA panels, you might notice a bit of ghosting or smearing in very fast scenes. Although honestly I didn't find it too distracting for casual play, I'd say this is perfect for console gamers wanting that crisp 4K resolution on a large screen, especially if you value deep blacks for atmosphere. If you're super sensitive to motion blur or absolutely need the best viewing angles, maybe look elsewhere, and definitely plan on using headphones because the built-in speakers are pretty bad. Overall, it packs a lot of features and great visuals for its price point. LG 27GB850B. This LG 27GB850B is one I often recommend if you want lightning-fast performance without spending a fortune, typically costing around $430. It's a 27-inch monitor with a 1440p resolution, which is a sweet spot for sharpness and performance for many gaming PCs and consoles. What blew me away was how incredibly responsive it feels. It boasts a 165Hz refresh rate that you can overclock to 180Hz. and combined with its super quick 1ms response time using LG's Nano IPS panel, motion looks incredibly clear and fluid. Seriously, playing fast-paced games on this felt amazing with minimal blur. The IPS panel also means you get really vibrant colors and great viewing angles, making games pop. The main trade-off is contrast compared to a VA panel like the Gigabyte. The blacks aren't quite as deep, which you might notice in a very dark room. I'd say this is the monitor for gamers who prioritize speed and buttery smooth gameplay, especially in competitive titles, and appreciate great colors. If you primarily play in dark rooms and want the deepest blacks possible or need a larger 4K screen, this might not be the one for you, and remember it doesn't have speakers. But for pure 1440p gaming performance at this price, it's hard to beat. And next we're gonna take a look at the best options in the $600 to $800 range. LG 27GS95QE. This monitor right here is the LG 27GS95QE, and wow, that OLED panel makes a difference at 1440p. With its 240Hz refresh rate, games feel incredibly fluid and the colors just pop, especially with those perfect OLED blacks making everything look super immersive. I found it fantastic for both my PC and console gaming sessions, as it handles PS5 and Xbox Series X signals perfectly over HDMI 2.1. Even downscaling 4K, motion is exceptionally crisp thanks to the near-instant response time, which is a huge plus in fast-paced games. If you're primarily gaming darker rooms and want stunning HDR visuals alongside smooth high refresh rate gameplay, this is a seriously compelling option. However, I did notice some VRR flicker in really dark scenes where frame rates fluctuated, which might bother some people, and while bright, it's not the absolute brightest OLED out there. MSI MPG 271QRX. This is the MSI MPG 271QRX, another 27-inch 1440p OLED, but this one uses a QD OLED panel and cranks the refresh rate up to a crazy 360Hz. Honestly, the smoothest at 360Hz is something you have to see to believe. It's ridiculously responsive, making it feel like you have a real edge in competitive titles. The colors look incredibly vibrant and punchy thanks to that QD OLED tech, and just like the LG, you get those perfect blacks and great HDR performance. It also plays nice with consoles over HDMI 2.1, and even has handy features like a key VM switch and a USB-C charging. I'd say this is the one to get if you're a serious competitive gamer who demands the absolute highest refresh rate at 1440p and loves those super vivid QD OLED colors. Just be aware it sits at the top of this price bracket, and like many OLEDs, you might see some VRR flicker in dark areas, though MSI has tried to minimize it with firmware updates. Finally, we're gonna take a look at the best options in the $800 plus range. Gigabyte Aorus FO32U2. This monitor absolutely blew me away with its 4K OLED panel running at a crazy smooth 240Hz. Seriously, playing fast-paced games felt incredibly responsive thanks to that near-instant pixel response time. There's just no ghosting. The colors are super vibrant, and the deep blacks OLED is known for make everything look stunning, especially in HDR. It has all the ports you need, including HDMI 2.1 for consoles and even USB-C. If you've got a powerful console like a PS5 or Xbox Series X and want a top-tier 4K OLED experience without paying the absolute highest price, this is definitely one I'd consider. Maybe skip it if you're super sensitive to potential VRR brightness flicker in very specific dark scenes, though it wasn't a big deal for me. MSI MPG 321URX QD OLED. This is another phenomenal 32-inch 4K 240Hz OLED option, and honestly it's tough choosing between these high-end models. What I loved about this one is just how crisp and responsive everything feels, whether I was playing competitive shooters or just exploring big open worlds. The picture quality is just spectacular, with amazing colors and perfect blacks making games incredibly immersive. It even has cool extras like a key VM switch and USB-C charging, which is super handy if you switch between a console and a laptop. I'd say this is for anyone who wants arguably the best all-around gaming experience right now and appreciates those extra connectivity features. If you mainly do office work or worry a lot about potential burn-in with static images, maybe look elsewhere, but for pure gaming, it's incredible. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you found this video to be helpful, leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Alright, peace out.